respected Professor Chandrima Shaha, President, National Science Academy, Professor Debang Khakkarji, Vice President, Indian National Science Academy, President-elect Professor Asutosh Sharma, he is not there still. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 88th annual meeting of INSA being hosted by CSR National Institute of Oceanography at Andhra University Center. I, on my behalf and on the behalf of entire CSR team, welcome you all. I'm really proud that we got opportunity to hold this meeting, the two consecutive meeting of INSA in 2019 we hosted at West Coast at headquarters of Goa, and it took us 3 years to come to the East Coast, and now again we are holding it at Regional Center, National Institute of Oceanography. And due to the COVID problem, we are not able to hold this meeting in 20 and 21. And everybody is aware that last 2 or 3 years, our country has gone through real tough times during this period. Our scientists played a big role or crucial role in combating the pandemic and bringing back the normal situation where we are able to do our regular course of work without any fear, and now we are able to hold this INSA meeting offline again in person. During the phase of this disaster, it was our scientific fraternity who acted as the savior of mankind. And role of INSA, the leading scientific body of the country, becomes very important in such scenarios, as the mission of INSA is to act as a resource pool of knowledge, to promote science in India, to harness scientific knowledge for national welfare, to identify and nurture scientific talent in the country, and to interface and represent the Indian science and scientists globally on behalf of Government of India. I am very much sure that the 3-day deliberation done during this meeting will bring newer science in the forefront and will be able to solve many difficult problems the country is facing. I will not take more time, and once again I welcome you all and wish you a very fruitful deliberation ahead. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Singh. We invite the President of INSA, Professor Chandrima Shaha, to please address us.
All distinguished INSA fellows, guests, and friends, we meet after a gap of about 3 years. The last annual meeting was held in Goa in 2019. Since I took over the presidency in January 2020, that March, COVID-19 arrived. While we continue to live under its shadow still, with it rampaging over the world, albeit in less virulent form, we continue with our mission to work for the propagation of science and scientific thought. Much of our activities suffered during the pandemic when we faced the closure of the INSA office with travel restrictions. Most of our interactive activities were interrupted, like the exchange program for scientists, visit of foreign fellows. We switched to the online mode and continued with our efforts to communicate with the public and the fellows via our webinars, COVID updates on the website, and other societal activities by the INIAS, which is the Young Academy of Sciences of INSA. The pandemic has brought on new challenges. There is a demand for deliverables from the science and technology research establishment and an appeal to think differently, putting emphasis on increased societal contributions from scientists. It is indeed the necessity of the hour to think about effective contributions that science can make during the time of need. But there are other issues, like when we saw the vaccines made in ultra short time, which never happened before, and it saved many lives. This progress actually stood on strong fundamental research that could be used to develop the technologies. Not only vaccines, but the rapid sequencing of the viral genomes to identify the variants also flourished because of contributions of strong basic research in molecular biology. It is therefore evident that great steps in science depend on core discoveries on central themes. I request our colleagues in the wider net of scientific ecosystem of the country to resist the temptation to push for rapid results. Continued support for basic research is required, and since the route from basic research to translation is actually not a straight line, foresight and backing is essential. Experts say that there will be more change in the next 50 years of science than in the last 400 years because of the fast development of technology. It is anticipated that science will make a meteoric progress. It is not that the importance of fundamental science is not realized. UNESCO has named the year 2022 as the Year of Basic Research. INSA is the nodal agency for Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development. Various activities like conferences, symposia, and outreach programs were held during the past year in states of Maharashtra, Sikkim, UP, and West Bengal to catalyze thought process on the issue. Our challenges are many. The climate, where we are standing on the brink of a disaster, combating infectious diseases, clean water, alternate sources of energy, creating food security, good education, reducing poverty, to name a few. The Academy's endeavor has been to facilitate interactions between scientists by providing suitable platforms where ideas can be exchanged across borders. As an academy, we serve as a think tank to deal with problems on ethics in science, communicating science to the public, getting the public and the students interested in science to foster young minds for methods of inquiry and explain the process of how science works. Many of the misunderstandings during the COVID was because we have not explained to the public how the process of science actually works. The webinars that INSA arranged over the past 3 years touched upon subjects of different kinds. We started the Foreign Fellows webinar series on neurology, climate change, nanotechnology, and some others. Then Professor Marcia McNutt, president of the US Academy of Sciences, actually delivered a lecture on misinformation in science, along with academics like Naomi Oreskes, professor of history of science at Harvard University, and some others. And these 5 lectures are going to be published in the Proceedings of Indian National Science Academy, but we have made a separate booklet which is available under the title Changing Narratives of Science, Technology, Innovation, Economics, and Ethics, Issues and Challenges in Recalibrating the Roles of Academia. You can ask the INSA people. We have the separate booklet outside for distribution. In addition to our 3 journals, we have been able to publish a number of books, some of which were targeted at specialists, but some for the consumption of common people. Newsletter has also been resumed and 2 issues already published. Tomorrow we are going to release a book on women scientists who are looked upon as role models, and expect that young men, women, boys, and girls would benefit from the publication. We take pride in the achievement of our fellows. Past President Professor Ajay Sood is in the role of Principal Scientific Advisor to the government. Good news for science. INSA Foreign Fellow Professor C. Jagdish assumed the chair of President of the Australian Academy of Sciences this year. Professor Arnab Rai Choudhury received the prestigious S. Chandrasekhar Medal. Professor M.K. Pandit has been elected Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and Professor G.D. Jadhav has been inducted in the National Academy of Inventors, USA. Our congratulations to all of them. We had experimented with activities to engage and involve with different sections of the society, a photography and film competition on the theme Science Through My Eyes, an essay competition on our lives and the sciences before and after the pandemic, and recently a workshop for science writers and communicators on science writing were floated, and all these activities drew very enthusiastic response. Since being founded in 1935, INSA has upheld certain values in science, the values of spirit of inquiry and ethics. We have endeavored to keep ethics as priority in all our practices. During the course of 3 days here, we shall have a large number of thought-provoking sessions on various topical scientific issues. I am sure they will be stimulating, and perhaps new synthesis of ideas will emerge. At a time when the world is faced with grand challenges, the power of science academies should come into full fruition. Firstly, we have to address and solve the grand challenges through interdisciplinarity, foresight, and policy making. We have to indulge in helping the policymakers to recognize what is important. Secondly, utilizing the power of science diplomacy to promote collaborations and collective thinking. Third, and most important, promoting the voice of science amongst its various stakeholders, including the policymakers, the government, the media, and the general public. Fourth is a major task to echo the voice and vision of the young scientists as well as the older generation at the global level. We have here new fellows who excelled in science and are being admitted. The INIAS is flourishing under the patronage of INSA, and we have high hopes from them in further elevating the standards of science to progress towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat. I welcome President-elect Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who's not only a very recognized scientist, but also a dynamic leader. While a formal vote of thanks will be given in the end, it is my foremost duty to express my gratefulness to all fellows of INSA and members of INIAS for their support. I would like to thank the INSA administration for providing constant support to me during my tenure, and my acknowledgement to the National Institute of Oceanography at Goa and Vizag for organizing this meeting, and to Dr. Sunil Singh and Dr. G.P.S. Murthy for taking a very keen interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Ma'am, for this scintillating and very, very exciting address. More than 80 years ago, Professor M.N. Saha, then President of Indian National Science Academy, had said, if you wish to remodel our society and renew the spring of our civilization and lay the foundation of a strong and progressive national life, we must make the fullest use of the power which a knowledge of nature has given us. INSA focuses on the connection between the science and the society, and the INSA Vice President, Professor D.V. Khakkar, who is looking after the science and society, I would request him to please post his remarks on the occasion. Professor D.V. Khakkar, please.
Professor Chandrima Shaha, President of INSA, Dr. Sunil K. Singh, Director, National Institute of Oceanography, members of the INSA Council, fellows of INSA, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you to the 88th Anniversary General Meeting. We are meeting after a gap of 2 years For me, it is a joy to see all of you in person. I'm sure all of you will agree that there is no substitute for a physical meeting. Though we've had so many online meetings, being together really makes a difference. This time, we've got a very good participation, and close to 200 fellows will be attending the meeting, and I think that's a very good sign. The anniversary general meeting celebrates the founding of INSA, which was established on 7th of January 1935. And so it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 88th anniversary of the foundation of INSA. In my remarks, I'll mainly talk about what is going to follow over the next 2.5 days. We will be offered a very rich scientific fair. As you might have seen from the program, we will have 20 anniversary lectures, 2 from each sectional committee. In addition, we will have a number of special lectures. Professor Shaha will deliver the presidential address immediately following the inauguration. Professor S.K. Apte will deliver the Professor Vishwanath Memorial Lecture this afternoon. Professor H.R. Krishnamurthy will deliver the Homi Jahangir Bhabha Medal Lecture tomorrow morning, and Professor Ashok Sen will deliver the public lecture tomorrow afternoon. In addition, we'll have an address by the Director General of CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, also tomorrow, and the release of the book Jiddi, written by Professor Sulabha Kulkarni on the unsung women scientists of India. I would like to thank, first of all the eminent speakers who have agreed to come and deliver lectures in this meeting, and also to the conveners of the selection committee and their members for selection of the anniversary lectures. I would like to thank the staff of INSA for putting together this program, and of course, Dr. Singh and Dr. Murthy and other colleagues at the National Institute of Oceanography for the excellent arrangements. Most of all, I'd like to thank all the fellows who have come here to participate in the scientific deliberations. Though Professor Ashutosh Sharma is not here, I'd like to sort of publicly welcome him to this new position to take over as President of INSA later at the end of the meeting. I hope he's able to make it. Being a chemical engineer myself, I just noticed an unusual fact that Professor Sharma will be the 3rd chemical engineer after Professor M.M. Sharma and Dr. Ramesh Mashelkar to be president of INSA. I don't know what there is about chemical engineering that prepares you for this position. And of course, I'd like to really acknowledge all the contributions made by the President, Professor Shaha, in taking the Academy forward in these difficult times. And in fact, this is the first annual meeting that she's attending in person, but the activities of the Academy continued, and we must all be grateful for all the efforts that she put in. So thank you very much. I wish all of you a very fruitful and enjoyable meeting over the next 3 days, and I look forward to interacting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Khakkar. And the next program on card is the presidential address by the President of INSA, Professor Chandrima Shaha. Professor Chandrima Shaha is basically a biologist, and she's president of the Indian National Science Academy. At present, she is a J.C. Bose Chair Distinguished Professor of the National Academy of Sciences at the Indian Institute of Chemical Biology at Kolkata. She is also the former director of the National Institute of Immunology, New Delhi. Her research interests center around elucidating the processes that influence cell death programs under varying physiological conditions in diverse organisms. She is an elected fellow of the World Academy of Sciences and also a fellow of all the 3 academies of science in the country. She had served as vice president of the international affairs of the Indian National Science Academy in the past and as a member in the councils of the 3 national science academies of the country. Notable awards earned by her include the Ranbaxy Science Foundation Award for the Basic Sciences, the J.C. Bose Fellowship, Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar Medal of INSA, Om Prakash Bhasin Award, Archana Sharma Memorial Award, Darshan Ranganathan Memorial Award, and Chandrakala Hora Memorial Medal and the Shakuntala Amir Chand Prize. History testifies that infectious diseases have shaped the future and the history of the world at a time when the world is still busy fighting this COVID-19. Her talk assumes great significance. May I invite Professor Shaha to please address us? Professor Chandrima Shaha. I may add one more thing here while the presentation is getting prepared. Even during the last 3 years, when she took over as the president of INSA, as we all know, within a period of a few months, it was COVID-19 all over, and it looked impossible that any activities could be carried out at all. But even under the circumstances, she took up the challenge, and as all the fellows know, we have been organizing so many different activities with her inspiration. We have had lectures from many distinguished people all across the world. Many of us are fellows who have been honored, including Professor Deepak Dhar, the Boltzmann Prize, and several others. All those have been properly congratulated by INSA, and we join her in congratulating them. So, over to her lecture on pandemics, the battle shapes the future. She'll be using a PPT, so may I request that the provision may be made so that this backdrop is removed and we can connect to the laptop. Yeah, thank you.